Hey guys, Jarek and Mookie here, going to be doing some more of the Halo 5 beta. Last time I showed you midship, this time I'm going to be showing you the other level in the beta, which as far as I know there's only two, midship and Empire. I don't even remember what they called midship, wasn't it called Truth, I'm pretty sure.
It was Truth, yeah.
Empire is apparently supposed to be a redux of High Rise. I'm not really seeing that, but that's what it's supposed to be apparently.
High Rise, really?
Yeah, that's what I saw in, it was some video, I don't remember what it was anymore. There's screenshots of it up on the Halo subreddit right now. I'm not seeing it at all, but that's what it's apparently supposed to be, a redux of it. I'll be honest, I don't like this level. It's too spammy, it's too much of a clusterfuck. I really hope this isn't speaking to the approach they're taking to Halo 5. I know they want to make it faster paced, but every large company seems to do this. Their attempts at making something faster paced is just to make the map small with too many directions to go. Because this level you always have a million different ways to get shot from, and it's actually really annoying.
If it's one thing I noticed about midship is they definitely stretched it out horizontally. I guess to make up for the fact that everyone has sprint now, to kind of like fit the whole new feel of Halo 5. But this level is a lot more cramped.
It's definitely cramped, and like I said, there's so many ways you can get shot from. Also, ground pound. This guy was oblivious to me. That is so satisfying to get, but it's not that easy to get because it takes quite a long time before you can actually use it.
It's got a bit of a wind-up to it.
It does, and it's loud. You can hear it when someone's doing that. It's kind of humiliating if you get killed by it. I haven't gotten killed by it yet, but I can like merely assume because you hear it from like forever away. So you have so much time to just like thruster pack away from them or do something like that. Kind of assess where they are before doing something.
Of course.
Oh, and that's something I didn't talk about. So you now can climb on top of things, which takes a little bit of a while to kind of get used to, because you have to push the jump button again when you hit a ledge and then you climb on it. I'm okay with this because more movement is always better.
Yeah.
It's a small change, but it's something that you will have to kind of get adjusted to.
If it's one thing that I've noticed, you can't crouch jump anymore because ground pound is a thing.
Yes.
And they have climber now, which I guess gets rid of the need to crouch jump up to certain ledges. So,
to be honest, I didn't even notice that for the longest time till about probably like my 10th game, and then I was like, oh right, I guess that's gone. But yeah. Again, you wouldn't need to use it. Also, assassinations are a thing, still, obviously.
Oh, nice, nice.
Although I've noticed the metal for an assassination is always a knife, even if you like bonked them on the head. I like how that's how you kill them. Just punch them on the top of the head, they're dead.
Just beat the crap out of them.
Oh, I should probably explain. This game was not a very long game. I'm only showing you half of it because the entire enemy team except for one person left. So, this is a game that's kind of cut in half.
That's acceptable.
I wanted to upload something, because I got the ground pound of this game and an assassination, so just kind of showing those off, more or less.
Nice, nice. It's interesting that they show the power weapon spawn times.
I'm really not a big fan of that. Like, I get the whole point behind having more player feedback, and that's great, but I don't want it to feel hand-holding. And Halo 5 definitely is starting to feel like it's holding your hand, telling you everything, with player callouts and telling you when the power weapon is going to drop. You don't need any knowledge of the game anymore, the game just tells you.
Of course.
Which I really don't like. Callouts I would be more indifferent towards if the voice actors weren't so annoying. And I talked about this before, but the voice actors... You know, we actually kind of talked about this in the last video, where everyone seems so bro. Yeah. And it's really annoying. What happened to like the actual Spartan? I don't know. It's just out of place and out of character for Spartans to sound like that.
Yeah, I feel like they've definitely changed the whole idea of a Spartan since I want to say the Reach days. Like the Reach days, they started diving into these more human characters, I guess, as opposed to this.
Which in theory I'm okay with, despite the fact that it was basically who can have the most noblest way to die award in that game.
Of course.
But yeah, I don't. It's definitely different from what they originally taught. I guess 343 doesn't agree with Bungie in that.
Yeah, it's strange. They're definitely going a different route than Bungie did. So.
Well, I'm glad I don't want this to sound bad. I'm glad in a way Halo 4 was almost a failure, so that they had to go back to their roots a little bit and kind of reassess why Halo was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's, if the beta doesn't change too much and they fix some of the smaller issues and whatnot. Oh, my teammate was it here? I'm pretty sure it was here. My teammate was like really mad I stole his kill from him. See, he turns and like starts shooting at me like, what are you doing? Also, like, no friendly fire. Yeah, he's shooting at me, not happy about it. Came up here, and after this I'm gonna switch over to the other game. He's just kind of in my scope, like, why are you doing that? Why are you taking my kill? So there's no friendly fire, and I'm glad.
Glad to see people are still asshats online.
Yeah, I'll talk about that. I'm gonna skip over to the other video, because from this point on, I was basically 4 versus 1, and I was just kind of standing up here with a sniper, just looking around the rest of the match.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna skip over to the other video. Alright, so this is another video also on Empire. This game was good individually, bad for the team. My team actually ended up losing, and at the end I did pretty bad, but I figured it was good enough to upload, and I just wanted to get something up of this level, just properly showing it off. So, have some more Empire. But yes, I am glad to see that they did not bring back friendly fire. They brought back the fact that friendly fire is turned off.
Friendly fire is really annoying, to be honest. It's so exploitable. Like, if you have
a teammate,
is.
You know, like, so many assholes which is like, oh, you picked up the rocket launcher? Well, screw you. I'm gonna kill you for the rocket launcher.
And even they can even get smart about it and start like half betraying you and letting the enemy team finish you off. It's just the most annoying thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest. There was no system that worked for fixing the betrayal problem. They tried to boot people for betrayals, that didn't work. They tried the longer respawn time, which kind of works the best, but still, I mean, that doesn't really solve the problem. People are still going to do it to be dicks.
Of course.
So it was annoying. It legitimately was annoying, and I'm glad there is no friendly fire.
Yep.
That is the one change with Halo 4 that I was actually happy about. See, a lot of the changes Halo 4 made, like I said, in theory, I was okay with. And in theory, on paper, yeah, in execution it didn't work. But on theory, I was okay with it, mainly because, let's take the loadout system for example. When I heard they were doing a loadout system, I was actually happy. My reason for that wasn't because all this extra stuff was being shoved in and I have, like, perks or anything. I don't want perks. I never cared for those. The reason I was happy is because that means that they are going to be putting an emphasis on weapon balance, which was a big problem Halo's always had and I've never cared for.
Yeah, so you expect to be able to, like,
use the guns I want. Like, I was like, yeah. I loved the assault rifle. I always found it to be a fun gun to use. I always found it to be an awesome gun to use. But it was always useless, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to use the term useless because it wasn't really useless, but it wasn't a primary you wanted to have. In Halo 3, you could use it. In Halo 1, within its constrictions, you could use it. If you were up close in Halo 1, it's actually pretty effective. But aside from that, it's not that great. I mean, you had the Halo 1 pistol, so you had no reason to use it. It was a gun I always wanted to use more, and now I can.
Yeah, which is really nice. They've actually focused on trying to put weapons in kind of a less restrictive space than before. They're trying to branch out the effective uses of weapons, it seems. Especially with the assault rifle. Like, with the DMR, they're trying to obviously push it into more of a sniper sort of position. Which
the DMR, I feel, is the one thing that they didn't really learn from previous, like, the original Halo 1 through 3 games. I feel like that was something they learned from Halo 4, having the huge balancing issues with the DMR.
Very true.
And realizing their mistakes. Same thing with the battle rifle not being a 4-shot for some odd reason.
Yeah, who knows why that happened.
Honestly, at the time of Halo 4, I was more or less indifferent about it. At the time of Halo 4, I kind of felt like, I'm okay with this being this way, but I feel like all other weapons need to be balanced around the battle rifle. But then they took an entirely different approach to it and just ended up balancing the battle rifle, or lowering that to a 4-shot, and then still balancing every weapon around it, so they did half of what I was expecting. Either way, I was perfectly fine with Halo 4 after that patch.
Unfortunately, that patch was too late.
Too late. It was pretty much dead at that point.
Yep.
Like, there were games and you could play it, but the fan base compared to previous Halo games was so small.
Yeah.
So I do think they are learning from previous Halo games. I think that they have learned, don't take Halo too much into your own hands, please. You don't have the same ideas of Bungie. This is still supposed to be a new Halo game. It's not a new franchise entirely, so don't try to change it that much. You know, I'm okay with small changes here and there. I like the changes they've been doing with Halo 5. It legitimately still does feel like Halo now. It's just faster.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm glad that the game actually... Oh god, that sniper scope. I feel like that's a little bit obstructive, but anyway, small digression. I feel like the gameplay in H5 is, as we've said before, true to the Halo franchise. Just everything they've been changing is kind of cosmetic, whereas the game still feels like Halo, if that makes sense. It doesn't entirely look like previous Halo games, but it feels like them.
I have a small, somewhat related rant to get out. The game was faster. A lot faster. But that also reminds me of... I'm not sure why this is a bad thing, but whenever people say that a game is slower, everyone thinks that's negative. I do not understand this. It is really annoying to me. Slower does not mean bad. And Halo is a great example of that. Halo 1 was a slow game. Very slow game. Halo 1 was
very slow, as was Halo 3.
Yeah, and to be honest, I much preferred Halo 1 and 3, and the pacing I thought fit that style of play much better. With the changes they made for Halo 5, faster gameplay works, but there was a lot of changes to be made. With both, you know, the thruster always being there and sprint. And then you had to balance even more things, because once you add in something like that, it creates a bunch of problems. So, you know, I felt that slow is always a fun thing to me. I mean, that's why I also play games like, say, Red Orchestra, which is that is a patience man game. Like, you have to be patient when it comes to Red Orchestra. You cannot simply just run in and kill everything.
Of course.
You have to be very smart with your approach. You have to know how to navigate the map, and you have to know when to navigate the map.
You have to do more thinking than Twitch shooting. Yes,
which is something I've always thought took more skill and was more, like, I appreciate that way more.
So, what's interesting about the slow pacing of Halo 1 was the kill time in that game with the pistol was so freaking fast. You got punished so fast for it. And
which, in my opinion, works better for slow games. Like, you need to have high damage if your game's going to be slow.
Yes.
If a game is faster, I'm perfectly okay with having taking a little bit longer to kill, because, I mean, if the game is that fast and you die instantly, it's just going to be really, really awkward to see what the hell's going on and get your bearings and be able to respond to something. Then it'll eventually just turn into, I saw you first in this map that's basically a clusterfuck.
Yep.
Looking at you later Call of Duty games. That's how I feel about Advanced Warfare. I do not like the multiplayer. It feels way too much like Infinity Ward. It's just a clusterfuck of everyone jetpacking everywhere, and whoever sees who first wins, or someone camping on roof.
Of course, of course.
But we're not here to talk about Call of Duty, we're here to talk about Halo 5. You know, it is actually interesting how those two games ended up kind of clashing. And this is me getting confused, like, where the hell did I spawn? What? This spawn, specifically, I got so confused because I had no idea where I was on the level.
Like, okay, that's a wall behind me.
Yeah, I thought I was somewhere else entirely, and I'm like, I'm not where I thought I am. Where am I? But, what's the saying? Yeah, it's kind of amusing how Halo used to be, like, the main multiplayer game, and then Call of Duty kind of took over. And I'm not sure if it's ever going to swap back. I'm not sure if we're going to see a new game kind of take over, or if we're going to see Halo kind of take that over again. I don't think we're ever going to see Halo come back to that placement.
We can only hope, though. Halo has a huge legacy behind it, and I kind of miss those days.
So this game, I probably should reiterate. Like I said, we lost this game, and this game for my team was bad. We had one person that was AFK, which is really annoying, who, if I remember correctly, died 18 times, so without him we probably would have won.
Now, is it just me, or have AFKers been very frequent in both the Master Chief Collection and the beta?
Yeah, and I don't know why. It's probably because of the long times of finding games. The beta, I'm just going to assume that's just because it's a beta. You know, occasionally you'll, like, drop out of the game entirely, and the servers will, like, fail, but whatever. For the most part, it works better than Master Chief Collection does, which is funny. It's just like Hardline compared to Battlefield 4. The Hardline beta worked better than almost everything else.
But hey, at least they'll get feedback on the game as opposed to just stuff like, oh, the matchmaking's broken.
If this works like Hardline did, there was a lot of changes in Hardline. They've changed, like, for instance, they got rid of light machine guns entirely in Hardline. I don't agree with this, and I think it's fucking stupid, but that's a big change to make. They got rid of rocket launchers entirely for engineers and gave them grenade launchers instead. Now LMGs and rocket launchers are going to be battle pickups somewhere on the level.
That's kind of messed up. I'm not okay with that.
The grenade thing I'm okay with, the LMG thing I am not. I can kind of see why, because the LMGs were really overpowered, to be honest. But it does annoy me, in general. But they are, my main point out of that is that they are making a lot of changes to Hardline since the beta. And if this goes anything like Hardline did, I mean, we're still a long way before Halo 5 is going to be released. And if it's anything like the previous betas were for previous Halo games, it's going to change a lot.
Oh, yes.
Like, say, how terribly overpowered the cloak was in Halo Reach's beta.
Or how ridiculous the laser was in Halo 3's beta.
It was still kind of ridiculous in the final game, but nowhere near as that bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. Anyway.
But yeah, main point being, I'm having fun with Halo 5. If you were really concerned about all the issues and about it changing too much and losing your faith in 343, they're starting to bring some faith back, but I guess we'll wait and see. Again, this is a beta and things might change for the worse or they might change for the better, so who knows.